Alright, so this is the 60th style DmC on the RPSC3 emulator. I have not properly seen a proper guide on the internet, so I've started to do it, and there are some things I've got to explain before we actually get started. So if you don't want to freaking hear me say those things, just skip. And basically what I need to tell you is that you will basically see some red artifacts in your game. And what do I mean by those? Oh, I just died there. Fuck. Right. So let me show you. So basically red artifacts, I mean basically some red spots, like some falsely rendered shaders right here. This is basically example. And the only way to fix it really is to enable strict rendering. But the thing with strict rendering is that it will decrease your FPS, and you no longer have the 60 FPS experience like I'm having right now. And the thing is that you can enable strict rendering. It will fix it, but not just will it drop your frame rate, it will also give you, for example, because of Devil May Cry, it doesn't really support 1080p and native resolution. So that's why if you do plan on doing that, you will be stuck with, I think it's the 1024 resolution, and it's not really enjoyable, because when you try to make a full screen, it's really pixely, and all of that is put some artifacts. So just fuck the artifacts. They're not really that big of a deal. It's not really the whole game that is red. As you can see, it's these small spots, and to me personally, I don't really mind it as long as they don't it doesn't affect my FPS. So yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. And besides that, it's actually really it's running pretty well with my settings, and I have a mid-tier PC, I would say, because in this age there are so many graphics cards out right now, but I have a mid-tier PC, I must say that. And I have a 6060 Ti and an i3 10th generation with 16 gigabytes of DDR4. Nothing really special. It's a good machine. I love the machine, and it gets me I can play games on it, but I really want to play some PS3 games and F1 Simulator. But yeah, let's get into the settings. So you can see that from the top left, it does say my FPS. I'm getting around 60. It's just dropping a bit because I'm recording. And yeah, so let's get started with this. So let's close the game first of all, and this will me open up my RPS3 emulator. Alright, hold on. So basically what you want to do is you want to open up your RPSC3 emulator. Let's go ahead and go to, you want to make a custom configuration, right? So go to change custom configuration, and here's some things that we are going to be doing. So basically we want to go ahead to, alright, so here basically three things I need to change. PPU decoder and SPU decoder. Normally these should be on recompiler LLVM. If they aren't, then set them both to recompiler LLVM, as you can see right here. And the SPU blocker should be on Mega, because if you give it even more, how do I say, even more cores or whatever it's called, or more, I don't know what the fuck it means, but if you just give it if you go higher, it will give you a better performance. But I think Mega is the best. I think Giga it crashed my game, so I see to Mega. And besides that, don't change anything else right here. And you want to go to GPU right here, and this is what I did. Now the key that I did to get 60 frames per second is, number one, we can have VSync on, which will lock it to our with 60 FPS. And also I set the default resolution to the lowest possible, which is 720 by 480, and that will give you, it's really small, but if you then go to resolution scale and put it really high, 200% to 225, then it will look good on full screen, and you will get good FPS because of the artificial upscaling. So that's that. FSR can be disabled because I don't know, it just doesn't really give me good FPS. I'll leave the sharpening on default 50%. Looks good for me. Also, here we go. What did I want to do? So you want to put the frame limit. We can put on 60. We can actually leave it on that. Anti-aliasing, whatever the fuck it's called. Put that on an auto. Shader quality, you can put that on high. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really fucking matter. Just put on high. Z call accuracy, put that on fast and approximate. And a sharpening filter, I say leave it on auto. and yeah, it will reduce the artifacts that we get, but not fix them entirely, you know. Aspect ratio 16:9, that's what we want. Graphics device will be default, of course, and renderer, choose Vulkan, and if it doesn't work, just use OpenGL, but Vulkan usually works. And additional settings, turn on VSync and stretch to display area. And on audio, just enable buffering right here, and besides that, don't touch anything here. Go to advanced, and here's also another important thing. The emulator usually caps your game at 30 FPS by default to give you that PS3 experience, but you want to get 60 FPS obviously. So go to VBlank frequency and turn it up to 120 Hertz. Because I found out that the emulator, it halves the amount of hertz that you set on the VBlank frequency. So if you would have 60 on here, 60 Hertz, it will go 30 because it halves it. So make it 120 and then you will get 60. And besides that, make the driver wake up delay on 0. I don't think I changed anything else here, but you can copy my settings if anything is different. And let's actually turn on the performance overlay, and let's go and save the configuration. So apply and save, and now let's boot the game again, and I'll be right with you. Alright, so we are back in the game. I just booted it up. Let's go to start. Let's open my save file. Alright, let's let that load. And in the menu you might get 30 or like 60 FPS. That doesn't really matter. The main thing that we're focusing on is in-game, and as you can see, it's 60 FPS. Might drop to 59 at some times, but besides that, you can see it is like in the 50 to 60 area, which is very playable. Of course, there's like no really big stuttering or anything that I'm experiencing right now. It's running very smooth for me. And you can, one thing that we could do is put the PPU thing that we did, like we set it to mega, I think. You can try doing that, putting that on giga to see if it gets you better performance. But I think I might use like more of your CPU, so you might have to like close any other apps that are running in the background to get better FPS. But besides that, as you can see, it's running, like for me personally, this is very playable. I've been playing like the entire game. I've been playing like this, and yeah, I don't really experience any lag at all. Like I did at first because I obviously don't have my custom settings, but now with these settings, they will run pretty damn good. So yeah, copy these settings. If you have any better settings that you've seen better results with, then please do let me know, because I'd love to improve my custom configuration for this game, as I'm trying to get 120. I know that might be impossible, but it never hurts to try out. But yeah, besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if this did help you, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. The usual YouTube bullshit. And yeah, this is the Accurate Chief signing out.